Hello.
I counted weird.
Did you? Are we
Yeah,
in?
well, yes, but I usually count from 5 and I don't say 1 before we start the stream. That was weird. Anyways, you go.
It must be because there's so much weird stuff going on. So,
Mm-hmm.
hello everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful week. We had a pretty rough time last week, as most of you heard here in Texas, but we all made it. We're through it. We're done boiling water to flush our toilets and all the other.
You mean
Uh,
boiling snow?
boiling snow? Well,
Yeah.
melting snow and then boiling. I guess we didn't need to boil that water, yeah. Anyway, like I said, it's been kind of a crazy week, and then now we have Crew 2.0 coming out. I know that this is going to be a big topic today, so we will talk about it. I promise you it's not as scary as it looks at first, but I understand where people are coming from. I'm reading some of the comments on the YouTube video right now. So we will be answering questions on Crew 2.0, and we will not be able to answer every question because there's a lot to answer. But I promise you guys, if we get some good questions we aren't able to answer right away, we'll take them to our PDM and get answers for you and bring them back next week.
Yeah. I actually have a list of the general feedback that I currently have. These are all of the fundamental, like, negative points that most players have had, and I've brought it up on a couple of platforms, one being the CC Discord, so I sent it to them because that's the feedback that I gathered from them, and then I also, on the Reddit post, I also posted this. This is essentially just a summary of the most prevalent negative points that people have. So I'll kind of read through them. There are 8 points, and they kind of go over different sections, but they're all related to Crew 2.0. So before we get into taking a little peek at Crew 2.0 in the SandBox server, I'll read off these 8 points of feedback that I have kind of just aggregated so far. Anyways, so the first point is unique crews are not converting in a likable way. You lose out on bonuses you had from 0 skill being BIA, even if they are added as an instructor, it's not equivalent. XP that a 1 skill crew is equivalent to 18 skill points. And then 4 instructors, which is the max that you can put on a tank, caps out at plus 8 skill points that are assigned randomly, even with it being plus 8 past the 75 standard cap. It still doesn't feel like a favorable transition, is what people have been telling us. Point 2 is skills are too situational to invest skill points into. There seems to be an exorbitant amount of skills that are dump skills, aka skills you only invest in when you have nothing else, so you just dump the rest of your skills into them. Min-maxing will widen the skill gap even more. This is point 3. Builds will be variable somewhat, but certain tanks will have overmax and will almost definitely be overtuned with the ability to boost otherwise previously unboostable stats. And I do have a link to an image that is an example of a 279E, everybody's favorite tank, and a build that someone created for that. Point 4 is builds will become per tank. The attempt to make a wider variety hasn't gone very far. The variety is actually quite limited, and more variety compared to the current system, definitely, but that's compared to a current system where the only variety is the order in which you train the skills. Point 5, instructor bonuses going to certain skills is a poor choice. Example, over 100, someone was able to achieve over 100% in the concealment skill.
Actually.
Say what?
Total was 144%.
Yeah. And then let's see, and we'll get to questions once I'm through all these points. There's only 3 more. Instructor skill points should be assigned by the player. If instructors are to be special, the ability to assign them to your liking would add to their value, since they are devalued by the lack of skill points compared to a 1 skill crew. So this is the amount of skill points that you get with the conversion. Even with the ability to boost past 75, it is not equivalent, nor is it an improvement by much. This also considers the XP boost that you get from having all of those instructors on your tank. Training to an additional tank specialization is now more costly in terms of XP loss. The current system reduces the major qualification, which overall takes less XP to hit 100% versus the new in-SandBox system, in which training to multiple tanks in the new system will sacrifice more XP if you're not using gold to convert them. Gold cost is cheaper, but free-to-play is now a larger free-to-play will now have a larger experience and credit gap. And then the last point is BIA and Commander bonus allowed a +% to all experience levels. The new system kind of lacks both of these. Essentially, BIA exists in a different form, and then otherwise it forces you to go past max progression and is less accessible comparatively. Commander bonus, at any skill level, you can have it, and it is +12%. So this is all the feedback that we've gathered. Brian, I'm so sorry. I was reading the feedback, but I think the most personally.
I think we're getting too far into the weeds. I'd like to go over basic stuff, guys.
Yeah, let's go over the basic stuff.
So somebody mentioned earlier that crew skills over 5 skills will not get bonus for being over 5. You do get a rank and a badge and some extra stuff to show off, but that is true. The main thing I think that seems overcomplicated is the transition from the old system to the current system, or to the new system. I think that's where most of the questions are coming from, and that's very understandable. The actual new crew system itself is basically a skill tree with some modifiers. Instructors acting as modifiers and such. So you can play around with that. We have tools in the article links that I posted in the chat. There's a crew conversion tool where you can put in your amount of skills and see exactly what you'll have in the new system. You're of course welcome to download the SandBox client and try it out for yourself. But again, I think most of the questions that are complicated are more about the conversion than the actual new system themselves.
So the thing about over 75 skill points is, by experience, you actually get bonuses for ranks that you achieve past 75 skill points. So 75 skill points is equivalent to about 6.5 million XP from your crew. And anything past that will get you into elite progression. Elite progression has, I believe, there is something like, I think it was like nine levels. So I'll show you guys in game what I mean. So this is actually my sheriff account. If I can make sure. Okay, so this is actually my sheriff account. I have maxed out this crew, obviously. So these are all of the trained crew skills and what I have on them. Essentially, outside of that, this is an elite specialist. So this has actually unlocked for me a nice little badge, like we talked about, elite specialist. It gives expertise. So I actually get, if I can remember where it is, I actually get a percentage bonus to the overall handling of my tank. So if you guys see the little drop down says vehicle handling, base value is 100%. My parameter modifier says plus 21% to professional expertise. So that is the first rank. The first rank is plus 5%, then it's plus 4%, then it's plus 3%, plus 3%, plus 2%, 2%, 1, and then another 1, all adding up to 21% once you are past 75 skill points. So That's the elite progression. That's essentially where you will go into if you have anything essentially past a 5-skill crew. You're saying that's like, I'm not necessarily equivocating.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, like, comparing it to the old perk system doesn't really work because it's so different.
Yeah. I'm essentially saying across the board, when you have the elite progression, you get a handling bonus to the entire vehicle. So, but yeah, so you get elite progression if you're anything past 5. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions, we'll answer them as best as we can. I did post a link to my Reddit post, which is essentially an aggregate of all of the negative feedback points that people have sent in on different platforms, so you guys can check it out. If any of your negative feedback aligns with that, I appreciate if you let us know. If there's anything outside of that, when is this coming? No guarantee that it will. If people don't like the skills or the system, it won't happen.
So to give you guys an example, we just posted a wrap-up of the HE mechanics sandbox, and you can find that on the portal. I'll drop it in the chat momentarily. We took a lot of lessons from that first sandbox, and we're planning another sandbox with some updates coming in a month or two. Something probably very similar for this. We will take people's feedback and probably see how this test goes, take the data, take the feedback, and come back with another version in a couple months. So even if there's some things you don't like, it's possible that they may change before release. If there's nothing that anyone likes, it's possible it doesn't happen at all. So we will see how the sandbox goes. I totally understand people being resistant to change. I'm actually very sympathetic to the people who are talking about how much time they're going to have to invest to make the adjustment for all their crews on this.
Yeah.
I certainly have 300 vehicles in my garage. I'm not really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But I do think the new system offers a lot more opportunity to customize to your playstyle. And I think that's pretty interesting. We also have 100% Sixth Sense no matter what, even if you have no skills, which I think is a huge plus. So I think there's something to like for everyone. If there is stuff you don't like, please try and point it out specifically to us so we can include it in our feedback. And I'm sure everyone will have at least one thing they don't like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So some people say, Apocalypse Cow says, I hate the 75-point cap. There are tons of skills I had before that I won't have now with the same skills. So with the inclusion of stuff like the maxed out crew and the instructors, which the instructors, I think, people are thinking about them as additional crew members, whereas that Tragic right before we went live made a point that it's more like a rune modifier in an RPG.
Yeah.
Which I think is a better way of thinking about it if you're having trouble when you do play other RPGs.
Yeah.
So with those instructor modifications, I think you have way more customizable options for your skills than you did in the previous system.
And, we have taken the feedback on the instructors, which a lot of players, it's one of the points that I read out earlier, which is the instructors, which are your unique crews, are not really converting in a way that people like. You generally lose out on the bonus from their 0 skill having been BIA because there's a new skill that replaces BIA, but you don't get any XP necessarily from them because it's a 0 skill BIA. That means there was no experience put into that BIA skill. And so a normal crew with BIA would give you 18 skill points. Even though the unique crews turn into instructors, you technically get +8 skill points, but that's only if you are past 75. You still have to train up your crew to pass 75 to really make the most out of the bonuses that you get from the instructors. But like I said, just check out the post that I made. I'm gonna post it again, and I think you guys should absolutely read that because it summarizes a good chunk of the feedback that we've been hearing, and it should, at the very least, ease some of your guys' hearts in that we're understanding your feedback, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so
We know
one
it's
thing I-
negative, but
Well, not all of it. I think
no, yeah.
people are finding some stuff to like.
Mhm. Definitely.
Coherence, I believe, is the skill. Germ, got it. Thank you, Germ.
Yeah.
So one thing I do want to point out is you don't have to max a skill. You don't have to You don't have to max out with 10 skill points to get out with 7. That's where the flexibility lies. You can choose to have different bonuses that aren't fully maxed out to maybe find something that's better for your playstyle. We all know in competitive multiplayer games, there's eventually going to be an optimal way of doing things and a meta that arises. So we'll see what happens with this, though. I think there's clearly a lot of stuff to work with in that area. Scott on YouTube said, I never got a commander and my team won the team clash. Scott, if you did not get a commander, your best bet is to put in a customer support ticket because they can check the back end and see what happened with your account. So I'll drop you a link to the support portal in just a second here.
So Genosik says instructor would be fine provided that we can select from all their skills. So yeah, that's actually one of the point. I believe it's in point 1 in the link that I provided. Essentially, it states that being able to select the skills that your instructor boosts would make it a lot better. Voice lines, you can essentially you can put crew skins, the special characters. Well, your instruct, anyways. Just test it out on the SandBox. Special voice lines should still be there. Bottom line is that there's no loss from having a 9-perk crew. So like I said, number 5, all of the experience that you have past a 5-perk crew is going to push you into elite progression. And with elite progression, there are different ranks, and the different ranks grant you a +% to your overall tank handling. So there's a cap that exceeds the 75, but in the way of percents instead of additional skill points. So
Thomas on YouTube says, well, what happened to special voice lines like Chuck? So I believe most of the creators most of the crews with special voice lines are being turned into instructors. And then my understanding is when you assign an instructor to a tank crew, the voice lines will carry over.
Yeah. Let's see. Why don't you keep the system the same, but make it more simple and straightforward? So this has been... There's a lot of dissenting views about what is more simple and what is more straightforward. For me, I understand the skill matrix because I've played MMOs, I've played multiple games that have a skill matrix or something of the sort. And so I understand how to fill it out, I understand how it would work, and it's pretty straightforward for me. There are people who maybe haven't played an MMO, and it is definitely kind of confusing to them, but realistically, the conversion, I feel like, is going to be one of the more difficult parts for older players or like people who have been playing the game for a really long time.
That's really the part that's complicated. I think people are trying to understand how the conversion is going to work and then assigning that complexity to the new system. The new system isn't actually that complicated. It's just the process of getting there from the old system that is very complicated. We do actually have some specific responses from the devs to that question, though, available in the article. Listed in the bullet points: improvement of the user experience when interacting with the crew system, increasing the variety of skills, perks, and talents, creating a transparent progression system with clear and achievable goals, and improving the interfaces with crew management tools. And I do think that the variety of skills and perks and the transparent progression are two things that were definitely severely lacking in the old system. You really had to learn a lot of stuff out of game to apply them in game. If you listen to YouTube video, it is confusing. I know.
Alt War, the Offspring crew, will still have the unique voiceover. The background music, I believe, is attached to the tank, not the crew. So yes and yes is the answer.
It's not averaged; it gets added cumulatively.
Yeah. But no, if you guys watch the video, you'll note that one of the reasons why the crew skills are changing is because the system is kind of awkward currently, because you have to train a perk and then reset it if you want to have something like, I know Sixth Sense is a poor choice because it's automatically a part of your commander now, but, you know, resetting all of your skills to 0 to be able to retrain it to a more useful perk is kind of awkward, whereas this one is more straightforward, where you just fill out the matrix and you get, you know, all of these bonuses. John, this is a SandBox, and if you only play console, I'm sorry, but we are trying to make sure that this possible change is liked, and currently there's a lot of pain points that I've seen from players, and we have taken those as feedback, and I'm hoping that at the very least, you know, there's some working together so we can make the possible system better, or just get rid of what the possibility is and try and change it in a different way, is what I mean.
Yeah, Jay, we did get power back, thankfully, although we still have some team members that don't have water back, which is unfortunate. John says, just pointing out, you're about to screw your base the exact same way console did. Well, I don't really think that's true if you look at the details, but we'll just move on and focus on people asking questions about Crew 2.0. Hey, Mr. Beatleborn, thank you for the kind words. Hope you're happy and healthy too, man. So, Unknown Soldier mentioned no 0 skill crew benefit. Well, you will get the extra skill points automatically for that 0 skill crew. It is still a benefit. I think the situation where you might not is if you have a 0 skill crew that has 6 or 7 skills. And that is probably a very good point to raise as far as things that maybe should be addressed by the next SandBox.
Yeah.
For sure.
One of my things, so OSST 2891 says, I'm one of very few that likes the changes. So I like a good chunk of the changes. It's just that there are small parts of the changes that, like, even I personally think are changing in ways that aren't necessarily fair or equivalent in the way that it was hoped to be. So, you know, with instructors, you know, you can assign 4 to a tank and you get additional skill points. It's randomized. The skill points that the instructors give are randomized, which is kind of awkward because it's just like, you know, you've taken away 0 skill BIA, which is already a boost to your crew. Why am I losing out on the ability to boost what skill I do want in my matrix? Because, like, it seems like an awkward thing. Like, I'm okay with instructors. Like, that's like putting, if anyone has played Borderlands, like, your character has a little, like, emblem that you can equip, and that gives you a bonus to certain skills. So that is essentially the exact same way that instructors work, including the randomized skills that it boosts. But it's really awkward because it's a conversion in this point versus an actual implementation of a mechanic, I guess. Yeah.
Apocalypse says, I love the single crew person and the new skills. I hate the 75 skill cap, how the training works, and the 30-point minimum talent unlock.
Good feedback.
Hey, appreciate that. It's specific. Do you want to pull up maybe an example of a crew conversion and just go through it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I gotta pull SandBox up because I closed it to change accounts. I'm gonna open it on my Tragic Loss account because I had my deputy earlier.
So we'll do that. A now said, this is because Wargaming wants more money. Stop candy cutting it. Well, we don't shy away from the fact that World of Tanks is a business venture. But this specific system, it's unclear to me what you think is designed to siphon money out of this system. There are some gold spending options available, but I would argue there's actually less than in the previous crew system. So I have to disagree with you on that one. World of Tanks is a business, and we do appreciate the folks that support us and keep the servers going.
Yeah, Spottable Sky says, I've seen the crew 2.0 and people have managed to get a tier 8 Progetto to have over 500 view range. How are you guys going to deal with this? It's not finalized. None of this is final. Like, my personal guesstimation is that we will probably see if there is here's my thought process. If most of the feedback, like a good chunk of the feedback across all servers, is negative, we absolutely definitely need to go in and change some stuff. But the other thing is, like, you know, different sections, different parts of Crew 2.0 can change. So you can change the way the conversion works. You can change the skills in the skill matrix. So there's possibilities for changes on all parts of this because we are in SandBox. And so the more and more descriptive feedback that you guys give, the more abilities that we have to understand and change things in a way that is more conducive to you enjoying this change versus us just thinking, we're going to change this just because we think it needs change. No, there's a reason why we did SandBox server. It's so you guys have a say and can give us detailed feedback on what parts you like and what parts you don't like. So, you know, please continue giving us feedback for sure.
I did want to go. Daniel said if Crew 2.0 results in a nerf to the Progetto 46, then good, which I appreciated. Doc Harvard said we already spent gold on a lot of crews. Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. I mean, I'm someone who's put a lot of work into my own crews. I know Tragic has as well. We're definitely no stranger to that. My British medium crew in particular, I tried to optimize through every trick I learned. Super crewing between different premium tanks and all that stuff. The one thing I do want to point out is if you have done that with a crew, you're going to have the maxed out 75, the special rank and skill bonus, all the instructor slots open, and you're going to be able to immediately assign that crew to 3 different tanks, right?
Yes, but you for the free level, so this is one of the pain points. So just because you brought up this process, but yes, you can assign your commander / crew to 3 different tanks. However, when you train them to the additional tank, you do lose out on some of the XP that they have. So it's kind of similar to the current crew conversion to different tanks, but yeah, for 750 gold, you don't have to lose out on that, which is, you know, fair, and, you know, people are annoyed that it's spending gold. But, you know, there is free conversion, which a lot of people say is more expensive than the current free conversion, which is one of the points that I actually have in my feedback list because, and I'll read this one again because it's being brought up now. Training to an additional tank specialization is now more costly in terms of XP lost. The current system reduces the major qualification, which takes less XP to hit 100% again, whereas training to multiple tanks in the new system will sacrifice more XP if not using gold. Gold cost is cheaper overall, but for free-to-play players, it is now a larger experience and credit gap. So it's definitely something that we are aware of. Like the cost to additionally train to multiple tanks is maybe a bit more expensive than the current system. So.
But then you never have to transfer it back and forth.
Yeah, but you never have to transfer it back and forth, which is fair.
So I mean, or you wouldn't have to do it for every single tank because you'd have crews reducing that. But I hear you. That is a lot of.
So what did you want me to convert, by the way, Cabmech?
Let's just go through a tank crew, any tank crew you want. Maybe your favorite to convert to the new system. I'll
do my. Is that for premium tanks? No. Premium tanks kind of already act in the same way as they do now, in which you can move your crew to any of the same nation and the same vehicle type to another one with no penalties. That's for your crew that is assigned specialty in a particular tank. So I have a Type 59 crew. I'll show you guys the conversion process. It's pretty simple. So I'll show you guys how many skills. So I have 2 fully trained skills on these. So I have Sixth Sense and I have Mentor for whatever reason trained on these. Otherwise, repairs Snapshot, repairs Clutch Braking, repairs and safe stowage, and I think I have another one behind that. But essentially all of my crew is 2 full skills plus an 80% skill. So let's do conversion, and I see that it is a 37 skill points, and I will have 2 instructor slots available. The crew is going to be trained for all Chinese premium medium tanks, which is, you know, standard for these now, and my reservist crew will be converted to the new type. So, converting, reached a new level. Okay, awesome, affirmative. So now I can go to my crew. So the train for vehicle, if I click on that, I can select a new one. And this is training for additional tanks. So training for additional tanks, like I said, a full training to a different tank with gold is 750. I believe a 4-person crew originally would have cost you 1,000 gold. Anything less than, no, it's 250, isn't it?
200 per.
200 per. Okay, so it's 800 gold. Anyways, math aside, so I can train for 750. 200 per. Cool, awesome. So it would be 800 if it was standard, but
And
700.
So it's 50 gold cheaper, and you get to keep the training of the skill of the tank before.
Yeah. Which is pretty fair.
Like you have 1 French heavy crew, I can now put that on both my French heavy tier 9 and the AMX 50.
Yeah. So training a full crew for anything that is 4 crew or more is cheaper by 50 gold. Yes, training to minus 10% to overall crew experience is more expensive. So that's 500,000 credits instead of what the other standard is. I don't remember the cost, but anyways, training a crew I think is 20,000, and it's 80% of your major qualification, which is actually once again more cheap it's cheaper in the old system versus in this system. However, you know, you do get to keep the training to the new tanks. So if I'm going to train to gold.
Also, just real quick, that also means no 50% crews on new tanks. You're automatically 100%, which I think is a pretty big deal. Maybe not for those of us who have crews for every possible line, but certainly for players who are still progressing in that. And also the auto Sixth Sense, which is the number one thing that people were spending increased gold on skill points anyway.
Yeah.
And then Mox said, one solution I thought of to the XP loss to training for multiple tanks is that the XP loss does not reduce the number of skill points earned. You just need to make up the XP loss before you can gain new skill points.
Yeah.
That is
Didn't actually know that. But no, so I'm gonna repost my feedback aggregation because I think it's really important that you guys know what we've heard so far, and I think you guys should expand from there, or continue to expand in general. But definitely read that. So. Reward. So some of these questions are answered in the article, but female crew members are all 3rd class instructors. So snow maidens and so snow maidens, female crew that you get from campaign missions, and the like, so any of those female crew, are all 3rd class. Any of the special ones, so things like CCs or Buffon or Chuck, those are all 2nd class. There are currently no 1st class no 1st class instructors. So
you can drop that in the forum feedback thread. I'll drop the link again if you want. But honestly, anywhere you post it, we'll be gathering it. So if you want to drop it in the Reddit thread that Tragic started, we'll catch it there too, whatever you're more comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Tragic.
Sure.
This might be one of the hypotheticals we need to go for it. Our team to answer. But so my Leopard crew is currently composed of all female crew members because I recruited them before the change to the reward crews. So how does that work?
So essentially, if you have 4 female crew members on your tank, they're all assigned to, you know, different roles within your tank. And so all of them, you have the choice once. So actually, let me... oh, I am in my tragic loss. Okay, so let me... Oh, here we go. So I have my band, my lovely Sabaton band here. So all of these Sabaton members are going to be instructors. So they're all currently on my tank. Any of the special crews that you have on your tank are going to stay there until you decide to convert them. Or at least that's the way it works in the sandbox. So once you convert them, all of their XP kind of just mashes together into the what's it called? The commander, and all of them become unique instructors. So you'll see that I get 41 skill points, and then I will also get the 4 unique instructors. So I'll go ahead and convert those. Okay, awesome. And then if I go back to it, you'll see that all of my special crew members have now turned only into instructors. So this is where they will live now. So the same will essentially happen to your female crew. I'm trying to see if I can find a tank that I have that has a female crew on them. But that's like all of your special crews will turn into instructors. You do it on your own. So that means that you get to pick when they convert. Here we go. So here's a tank that I have that has, at the very least, 3, because I can't see all of them. So I have 3 female instructors. That's equivalent to 20 skill points. And remember, this is because the first skill, I believe, on these ones is automatically on them because they were a 0 skill crew member. Bloggers, aka CCs, are all 2nd class, not 3rd class, guys. So, all right, so we'll convert this female crew of 3. Okay, awesome, converted. And when I click on the, oh my goodness, when I click on them, I believe my other female crew have gone into here, so they're somewhere in here. They're around. But yes, all of them goes into 1, and I get them instead as an instructor. How about Twitch commanders? Let's look at Twitch commanders, because I believe I just passed them. So here's my band of brothers. And then I believe she's a Twitch commander, no? Or you are a Twitch commander. So she is instructor class 2. There you go. What do they do after becoming instructors? You can assign them to a tank. So I've converted them. Any of my instructor candidates. So this is one of the female crew, and these are going to be which kind of certification I want them to have. So I believe I am looking at my STRV. So for her, let's do something like driving.
So, just to give you guys who are still like, what the heck is an instructor? It's basically another modifier for your tank crew. So as Tragic is showing right now, you're able to pick different specialties, and you're going to be able to specialize your tank crew's abilities using the instructors as like a something you plug into a gem socket in Diablo. If you are familiar with that. They're
like gems. They're like what do they call it in Borderlands? Borderlands. What are they called?
I'm not sure. Yeah, in Unsouled I had the same idea. System seems even more convoluted than the current system.
Class mods.
That's what you're used to it, and that was honestly my first reaction to Invalid Target. But I do think that the actual system isn't as complicated. It's transferring from the current system to the new system that is very complicated.
Why do I need to spend gold to train my Scorp G crew onto my Scorp? You don't. You can transition here. Let me find my Scorpion. So I have
Because if you honestly hate everything about the system, try and be like decent about it, but feel free to drop that feedback in the feedback thread. If you just say, I don't like this, I'm a time paying customer, I don't like this, drop that in.
Yeah. So we'll convert my Scorpion G crew. So this is my Scorpion G crew, gotta convert them. So this is my Scorpion G crew. Let's send them to the barracks. And then let's go over to my Scorpion G. Select a crew. Oh, he can use the same tank. It's fine. He can, so this guy is trained in all premium German TDs. Ta-da! You don't have to retrain him. Yay. Sorry. But yes, the conversion is kind of messy. Yes, kind of. Like, absolutely. But in my personal opinion, because I'm used to things like Fallout's like skill tree, and I've played MMOs for a good chunk of my life, it's really simple for me to understand the skills matrix, because anytime I max out, or anytime I put 30 points in, I get one of these, and I can get 2 of them max. It's training, and then you get talents. For me, that's simple. I know not everybody has the same experience, but
Norwegian just says a female crew becomes less leveled than a same crew with the same number of skills.
0 skill BIA. That's why. 0 skill BIA. A lot of female crews have 0 skill BIA, which means they don't have experience in the BIA skill. A standard crew with BIA is going to give you 18 points, just as your standard leveling through the 75 levels, or the 75 ranks. So, a standard crew, you get 18 ranks. Now it's less valuable. That's fair. That's fair.
I think that is actually one of my biggest personal issues with it right now that I hope to see change in future sandboxes would be the accounting for 0 skill crews, like those female crews and the reward crews for sure.
That's the number one point I have on my overall feedback aggregation summary. You guys should definitely read it.
Valdor, I think, sorry, the name scrolled by. Valdor said, when is this coming out in a few months? Well, it may never come out, Valdor. We may ultimately can it. Right now, we're in sandbox number 1. It's likely that as we continue to develop, there will be at least one more sandbox, just like there will be for the HE changes. So it's not anytime soon, and we'll have plenty of advance warning if it is coming.
Be for things bought that are what has been bought that is being removed. Is my question first. Crumby says, how will crew retraining work in the new system? The same as it currently does. So you can retrain to another vehicle in general, but you can also train for additional vehicles. And training for additional vehicles, why am I getting a discount?
Got the wall there, going to can it. Well, we previously canned a massive update like last year that went to 2 sandboxes, and ultimately the players didn't like. So yeah. History says that we will, but
there you go.
It's a free country.
But yeah, so crew training is going to work essentially the same. So if I have, let's use a different crew actually. Let's use a non-premium crew that I have. So, actually, do I have something else?
The biggest issue in this game is not the crews, nor is HE, it's premium. Striker, I would say that in both these cases, we're not saying that this is the biggest issue with the game. This is a long-standing issue that we've been hoping to improve for a long time.
So
we came up on the roadmap, and here we are.
I don't want to say you didn't read the article, but you didn't read the article. Bunks, all of the barracks slots that you have, all of those are being converted into what's called recertification forms, which you can use to retrain a crew's skill matrix. So they're being converted to something else. If you don't like what they're being converted into, that's a really good point of feedback. But the bunks are being converted into something else. They're not just being taken out of the game. So,
yeah. I mean, it says current Manu and there's one other fellow, Alex Mond, both talking about how it's only going to equal to 7.5 skills. I just, I don't think that's the way you should look at it. The new skill matrix tree is not equivalent to the old skills. You don't have to max out the skill. You're free to spend those points spread them out among a wider variety of skills. And those skills are not one-to-one equivalents to stuff like Sixth Sense, Camo, what have you. Yeah. So it's I see what you're saying. I think you're thinking about it the wrong way. They're not equivalent one-to-one comparisons.
Yeah. What bonus will zero skill crews provide? Almost all zero skill crews will turn into instructors, which give you bonus points to your skill matrix. Komodo Dagger, that's a really good question. That would probably be for if this is going to be implemented. That's a question for that, but I don't think we have an answer for that. Because we're talking about SandBox, which is essentially a potential change. So this might not make it to the live server. Like there's possibilities of iterations, like iterative changes, or it could also mean fully scrapping the idea. So if you make a mistake in the tree, how do you reset it? Okay, I'll show you guys. I believe it's actually pretty simple. So,
sorry, I spent 8 years to get crews where I needed and wanted. It's not giving back the hours spent to get my crew to like 5 perks. Phil, I think that's a valid criticism, and I would put that in the feedback thread if I was you. Okay. I think that's one thing that I definitely agree could be improved on the next iteration. As far as if we're going to platoon tonight, yeah, I think we probably will shift over into playing some games in the second hour of the stream, just as the questions cool off. But not sure exactly when.
Ooh, this is my favorite question we've gotten so far because multiple people have asked this, and I've actually, when I was talking with the CCs, this is how I thought it worked, and it kind of made me sad that it didn't. Is there a way to feed unneeded crew members to other commanders? Currently, no, but I would like that implemented. And also another point of, another question that I've been asked is what happens to the junk crew that's in your barracks? Anything that doesn't have its first skill is converted automatically into crew books. So there you go. Anyways, so I'm going to show you guys how to, I don't know if this person meant reset as in if you've already input all of the skills. So I'm going to input all of the skills. These are all of the skills. I can reset, and I can reset for free, or I can reset for this amount. And essentially, so I can also hit edit. So I can undo this one, and I can undo these, and I can undo these, and then I can select these. And I can do that and do save. And once again, it's for 150 or for free with a retraining order or a recertification order. And that's what your bunks convert into. So your recertification or retraining orders is what your bunks or your barracks turn into at a 16-to-1 rate. Anything that you have that is not a multiple of 16, so if you have 15 left over after, a multiple of 16 is converted, all 15 of those leftover ones will convert individually into retraining orders. So you get essentially you're on the favoring side for that, if that makes sense. If anyone needs that explained, I will do so.
Salvatore on Facebook has a question.
Oh yeah, okay.
If you have 3 Italian medium crews, can you combine them into one commander?
No.
Well,
technically yes, but also technically no.
Yes, but actually, no.
So, okay, so this is how you can technically do it. If you want to put, let's say you have really good commander trained to, like, your leopard, and all of the rest of your crew is really crap, but you have 3 other commanders for German vehicles, you can actually train those 3 people to different spots as a part of your crew, and then you can convert it into the new crew. Here, let me show you what I mean. So I have a really crappy VK crew, so I can actually send this guy to the barracks. So I can send him to the barracks. You know, they're pretty crappy crews. I can pick someone else, like Elsa. I can pick this guy or this girl who's Ada. I can pick Heavy Tank Tiger 131, who's a really good crew member, and then I can also pick the Tiger 131. And the thing is, I can retrain all of these for the current vehicle, retrain for 800, and then I can convert them. So you can technically smash some of your crews that are better than other crews into one tank. It's just that they have to be assigned to a role in that tank. And once again, the conversion is very, very confusing. I understand that. But the actual system outside of the conversion, I feel like, is way less confusing than this. Trust me on that one. But yeah, so retrained a bunch of people to this one, and then I converted, and all of the better crew put their experience into that commander. So that's how you can technically put those crew into another crew, but otherwise you can't take one whole Progetto crew and put them into another whole Progetto crew before conversion. So...
Kid COVID had a question about all female crews. Would it be better to use 3 of them as instructors, or better to change all their qualifications to commander? Go ahead.
You can't change them into a commander. They will all become instructors regardless.
But again, Kid, I would say that that's one area that I think we're personally hoping to see changes on.
What happens to Rudy's dog?
Don't necessarily commit to that yet. Me Too, you jerk said, for those of us with hundreds of tank crews, what do you do with all the extra crews now that the same crew can be used in 3 tanks? Well, you don't have to use the same crew in 3 different tanks.
Yeah.
And I would say that, like, a lot of them you're going to be able to melt down into crew books, which then you can use to train your existing crews or new crews you're bringing up.
Yeah. XP conversion is not working right according to the WOT interactive page. Please explain, because the instances that I've seen of people incorrectly converting is when they are trying to show people that they are converting a female crew, which generally has a 0 skill BIA, which has no experience in the 0 skill BIA. There's a reason why it's called a 0 skill. It has no experience, and the amount of skill points that you get is based on the amount of experience that your crew has. What happens to all the XP that they have? They go into the commander for the tank. I believe, I think I've shown a couple times, but I can show it again. Let's look at another tank. Let's say my IS.
Asking, I just want to update on this one because I see a lot of people asking it. Do we know what happens to unrecruited crew? I don't actually, and that's going to be one of the questions that we take.
I know.
But you do know. What is it?
I do know. It depends on how many skills they have. If they have at least their first skill trained, they will stay in your barracks.
Right, but if they're unrecruited, they have no skills.
If they are unrecruited and they have no skills, they will convert to blueprints.
I want to convert them. I do want to double check that with the PDM, though. That may not be how it actually shakes out in the end.
Which one?
Unrecruited reward crew members.
Oh, unrecruited reward. No, reward. Anything that is a special crew. So like female crew or Twitch crew, any of those that are special will stay in your barracks. Period. None of the special crew will convert or be changed without your availability.
We have not watched Quickie Baby's live stream yet. I'm sure that we will see what happens at some point.
Movie characters, but no zero skill. Jolly, they're also probably instructors, is my guess. Or crew skins. I don't know. That's actually a good question. It's actually a good question. If they are the commander, are they? You won't have a commander. So when you convert a crew that has a command, this is what I'll do. So I have this person is my commander, but they're also the instructor to be. So when I convert, you automatically get a commander that they convert into. So this is my new commander, and when I go in, I can assign that dude, wherever he is, as my new, or as an instructor, wherever he went. I don't remember, but he becomes an instructor. I get a replacement commander. In theory, we could fill out our barracks with free 50% to get books for free. No? I mean, maybe, but I think actually doing that is going to make you lose out. Because I don't know. I mean, theoretically, yes. Could probably try it. Okay. Are there any, like, big questions that people have that we haven't explained yet? What if we want to leave our crew alone and not change it? So insanely average, as you can see, almost all of my tanks say convert crew. I can't use the skills on my crews if they're not converted.
Dagger said, forgive me for pointing out the obvious, much of the Equipment 2.0 changes have bankrupted players with the economy change. Why do they need to change the economy of the Crew 2.0? Well, I don't think that the Crew is going to have nearly the same impact as the Equipment did. And I think a big part of that is because a lot of people were using mods or other things to swap the non-cemented equipment between tanks. So then they had to buy like camo nets and stuff. So then they had to buy a bunch of those to replace, which I don't see any parallel here. I don't think there's going to be, I don't see the huge credit sink happening here like it did with Equipment 2.0.
What is the advantage of using one crew for 3 tanks? If you're a new player and you're training up through the line, I would rather pay to move my crew with all the same skills than to have to retrain the whole crew to the new tank. And also possibly having a different amount of crew roles versus the previous tier. So one example given is like, oh, you know, if your tank at tier 8 has 4 crew members, but at tier 9 it has 5, you can, in the new system, train them to the new tank without having to recruit an additional crew member and have them be behind in experience. So that's one advantage of being able to have one crew for 3 tanks. Otherwise, it's also like the skill setup, or the loadout, rather. So, event crew are instructors. Does that mean we can't hear their unique voices? I don't think that's true. Hold on. Let me find.
If you use them as instructors, you will get the voiceovers. The exact solution isn't clear to me at this time, but that is my current understanding.
I think, no, well, you can go to their personal files and you can actually select them, or like, these are all some of the like crews that I have. If I unfilter them, you'll see that I have even more, I believe.
Have you inserted yourself to the new system yet?
I haven't, because the snapshot was taken before I got myself. So it's quite unfortunate, but you know. There you go. Okay. Let's add this dude. I believe
There's a voice
somewhere.
box. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought there was. So you if you have a voice available, you'll be able to select it when it's assigned to the tank.
Yeah. I just don't know where it is because I'm a dingus. I swear I'm trying, guys. Oh, there we go. So he's there.
JJ3X is late to the game. Haven't looked over this yet. What happened to my crews that have 4+ skills? I worked really hard to get there. JJ, there's actually a crew calculator available in the FAQ article that you can use to find out exactly what you'll get in the new system. With the 4-skill crew, you are going to get. I'll double check the number here in a second using the calculator, but you'll get an almost maxed out crew.
Here we go. Here's one with a voice line. So I'll just randomly assign you some stuff. Cool, awesome. Train my land to that. And then we'll add him. Oh, and it says enable voiceover. There we go. There you go. So if you assign a person with a voiceover, you can go into their personal file and enable that voiceover. Let's see what happens if I introduce another person who also has a voiceover, if I can find one. Here, let's do Buffon. Let's just give you something random. Cool, awesome, train. And then let's add you to my tank. So if I do enable voiceover, my guess is that this one becomes unchecked. There you go. You get to pick out of all of your amazing instructors which voice you want to hear as your commander instead. Ta-da! Hey, we find out. We're learning together, guys. I can turn off... Invalid target just wants to turn off Chuck Norris's voice. Nice. Phil, you actually, when you convert them, you get a replacement commander, and all of the experience that they have will go into that commander as skill points. And
then you'll be able to assign them as instructors if you want.
So, Kittis for Fosaurus? Kittis Fosaurus. Anyways, so this is actually a point of feedback that we've gotten multiple times, and I think it's a valid point of feedback because it's actually I've seen how people feel about this. Essentially, this is the first point of feedback that I have in my nice little list. Unique crews are not converting in a likable way. You lose out on the bonus that you had from their 0 skill being BIA, even if they are added as an instructor. It is still not equivalent. XP that a 1 skill crew is equivalent to 18 skill points. So if I had a crew that had 1 skill fully trained, that means that converts into 18 skill points. When you add instructors to a tank, there are 4 maximum. And each one has, I believe, so he's, anyways, so you get bonus points added to your skills matrix. So this one's getting boosted, this one's getting boosted, all these are getting boosted. However, that's still not equivalent to being able to assign 18 points into this skills matrix. And then on top of that, even if you have full 75 points plus 8 skill points being put into this matrix, doesn't feel like a favorable transition. So understandable.
Catch up here in a few. Karat on YouTube says, may have missed it, but what is the downside of training crews to other tanks? Well, under the new system, the only downside is the cost you have to pay to do it. So you'll be able to use those on multiple tech tree tanks. The downside is you, instead of having to pay gold to transfer them to a new tank, you pay gold to add a new tank to their roster if they have one available. And then they can permanently operate in the tank they were in and the tank you just trained them for.
How does it determine what skills it shows, like by class or what? My guess is it's by skills. So if I convert my skill or my crew for the, let's say E25 as an example, if I go in here and I go into the skills, if I do select suitable skills, these are absolutely definitely different skills than, let's say, let's pick a completely different tank. Let's pick the Type 62. Let's convert him. Also gets 10 skill points. Awesome. Perfect. If I go in and I look at his skills and I do select, it's going to choose different things. So this one has chosen driver training and some tactical training, versus if I look back at the E25, the skill points go instead some into technical training and some into tactical. So
So a couple of people made comments about it being complicated. Hey, appreciate the feedback. Thank you for giving it in a friendly and somewhat constructive way.
The crews get locked in battle though, so you can't. So, but that's the same for premium tanks currently. If you have, let's say let's go with an American. If you have your T-20 crew and you have your T-20 crew in a in your M4A2E Sherman, if you're playing your Sherman, you can't play the T-20. So it's technically still the same system as before.
They still get locked in battle, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're still going to be locked in battle.
Yeah. Hey, Sturgis, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Galjan said, can Tech Tree tank crews still operate premium tanks of the same nation and class without penalty?
Yes, that does not change.
Yes, they can.
And then the other thing that we talked about earlier, which someone was mildly confused on, is any premium tank. So this is the Scorpion example. Someone said, why do I have to convert my Scorpion G to my Scorpion tank? You don't. This is my Scorpion G, quote-unquote, commander. He has specialization in all German TD vehicles. So if you look at his specialization, right under where it says Erhard, his name, commander, specialization, German tank destroyers. So he can play in every single German tank destroyer that I own.
So Komodo says, World Tanks and I have some crews of frontline vehicles or BB vehicles that had some training but aren't vehicles in the garage or aren't trained to vehicles in the garage. So they also get transferred to crew break status. So I believe those crews are 100% crews with no skills, which means they're going to get melted down into crew break status. Exactly.
Yep. Anything that doesn't have its first skills. Locking 3 tanks for run crew, which is a fair piece of feedback. That's pretty fair, but you know, it's still, I'm just saying that it's the same as the current system. It sucks because that's now 3 tanks that you have that are locked, but it's still good feedback. I like your feedback. Thank you.
Because I don't like the limited number of instructors. Like the limited amount you can apply to each tank. Jazdarka says, I think it's good so far. I do think some skills still seem needed for pretty much everyone, and some are very niche. I'm curious if coherence works exactly like BIA or not. It says it works until one crew member is injured or stunned.
That's the same with BIA now. If one of your crew members is stunned, stun is different from down. So if one crew member is down, it's kind of like when your commander is down, you don't get Sixth Sense. So there you go. Yeah. Otherwise, BIA works the same way. If one of them doesn't have, or if one is down, you don't get the bonuses. It's not broken by death. I thought it was.
Do I need to sneeze?
Do you need to sneeze? Is it about sneeze time? Yeah.
Achoo.
There you go. Okay. Nope, that changed. Interesting. All right, there you go.
There we go.
Do you have to?
I know that guy.
Anyways, okay. Going back through. Gonna wind up with a bunch of instructors that are of no use, it seems. I mean, that's pretty fair feedback for sure.
Insanely average said, admit it now, this still needs some more. I 100% admit that now. I mean, there's a reason we brought it into a sandbox instead of a common test. It's very much a conceptual work in progress.
Angry Iguana, yes. If your commander is maxed out with 3 tanks, you can change his tanks to a different one. It's possible, but you do have to pay gold. And then Galjan says, wait, tragic, is the converted premium commander can operate all the tanks in the line? No, they can operate any premium So my Scorpion G crew can also man my Scorpion crew, and I believe it can also man my Kanonen Jagdpanzer. But the thing is, like, I'm pretty sure that's how it currently works. I don't think that so he's trained, this guy is trained for my Scorpion G. He's currently in my Scorpion, so let's send him to the barracks. I have no crew for this Jag 88, so let's select a crew. Let's put him in. Hey, he can use it with no penalty. Look at that. Interesting. Anyways, but yeah, it's premium vehicles. But I don't think the same is for non-tech tree. So let's look at, where's the German flag? Okay, apparently I only have premiums. Premium German. Sorry, guys. Switch class. Switching class, you can't do that.
Just like in the current system.
Yeah.
Mr. Card says, I only have 11 tier 10s and I won't have enough instructors for them all. Well, given that if the system hits the live server, I can promise you that earning instructors will become part of the normal like events, rewards, and stuff, almost for sure. I mean, 100% for sure. We wouldn't introduce a new class of asset like that and not allow you to earn more of them.
Number Series says, if I have a guy that's been made into an instructor, is there any reason not to make him a crew member? You can't change an instructor into a crew member. You can only do a current crew member into an instructor if they are a special crew.
You absolutely can play tank crews without instructors. Instructors are just another modifier.
Yes.
You know, the optimal build will include instructors. But I mean, when we talk about optimal in World of Tanks, it's like, 0.1 of a reload, 10 feet of view distance. It usually isn't enough to make or break you. It's the cumulative effect that really matters.
Odd Dog says 100% crews with no skills now stored in rental tanks. Do they become crew books? I believe they stay in those tanks. Any crew that are in tanks currently will stay in tanks. Anything outside of that, so anything that was in your barracks that had no first skill is going to be converted. What happens to crew skins? You still have your crew skins. You go to your personal files. These are all of my crew skins. There you go.
Options.
Let's see.
George says, so we still have crew and they're adding instructors? Yes, and some of your crew may convert into instructors if they are a special crew.
Yes. And special crew includes Holiday Girls, CC Commanders, Chuck, Buffon, who else? There was also... the band Sabaton. Sabaton also becomes the thing. No difference in female versus male crews. There technically isn't anymore.
Yeah, I mean, really, ever since Sisterhood of Steel BIA became interoperable, there really isn't a difference anymore.
Yes, Twitch Prime ones as well. Here, let me show you guys my... I can find a tank that has them. Anyways, I will find tank for you guys.
What happens to crews that have not yet been redeemed? Our understanding is they will still not yet be redeemed, Elfie.
Yes. So I have some, so I believe, so these are some of the Holiday Girls. I don't remember which exactly one of these are Twitch commanders. There are some.
Alex,
I think Marie is
Twitch,
but
Alex Duke is based off an employee who's been on the product a very long time.
But if they become a trainer, then I'm down experience when the crew gets averaged. So the thing about all of these crews is how much ever experience that they have. So just flat out, whatever amount of experience that they have. So let me swap into my my sheriff account and I'll show you guys what it looks like to convert a premium or a crew that is literally fully maxed out on the SandBox server. You guys
That's a
get to
good
see
question.
that.
Warehouse. Individual crew records, will they be retained, like battle counts and medals earned and such?
Ooh. I don't know. Like, you still have personal files, so I can go look into that. But
Should still be there, yeah.
yeah. Oh, Maeve and Starlight. Oh, okay, then yeah, they're still they're in there. They're I believe, I don't remember if they're first or second, or sorry, second or third class.
Belgian says, in my opinion, it's a win-win on special crews. They get average into XP for the new commander and become instructors for the tank of choice. I mean, it's definitely like it's a plus. You do get some sort of reward for having that special crew.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's enough. You know, we can negotiate, and maybe that can change.
Okay, so I'm on my sheriff account. Unfortunately, I don't think in my sheriff account I have like any instructors. Yeah, I don't. But you guys will be able to see how the conversion of like fully maxed crews looks like. So when you make conversions with your tanks, it is all based on the actual amount of experience that they have. So if you look at, oh no, I wanted to look at his crew. Okay.
Flying Dutchman says, if it's coming live, I have a lot to do with my garage of 320 tanks. Yeah, me too, Dutchman. I'm right there with you. Although, you know, that suggests that even people with massive garages usually end up playing between like 10 and 25 tanks almost all the time. So most people won't, you know, you don't have to go do all of them right away. You can just do the ones you plan on playing.
Trying to like...
Unless you're that guy. Unless you're the guy that has to do everything. In which case, you're going to have a big project in your hands if this comes live.
All right. Anyways. So, sorry, what was the question I was going to answer? Oh, retraining a full crew. So, when you're retraining crews, you can select or with crew mobilization. So this is like anything from your reservists to anything that you have like in your tanks. So a full skill crew, which has all of the skills, you know, BIA, everything, is essentially just full. It has enough skills to hit the 75 point cap. So let's convert this crew. I'll show you guys that one. So converting a fully maxed out crew, all of their experience that they had goes into the 75 points. Anything past 75 points is going to go towards the vehicle handling. So vehicle handling is elite progression. So elite progression is based on the amount of experience that you earn with that crew. I believe the amount of experience that you need to hit 75 points is 6.5 million XP, which is 6,500,000 or so experience across your crew. So that was a fully maxed out crew that hits 75. Let's exit and let's go back to my personal account.
While you're doing that, I want to catch up on a few. Commander Derek says, let's say I'm one of a few weird crew types of players. I took a specialized crew and put it in a lower tech tree, i.e. trained in the E4, but put it in the Hellcat so that they show as 85. Will the conversion treat them as 85? So basically, if I have a crew trained for a different tank, but they're in a tank they're not trained for when the conversion happens, do they get treated as an 85%?
No, because they're not lacking that amount. It's just that their effective skill level is going to be that lower amount. It's going to convert. Oh, actually, I think you can only convert crew if they're in the correct tank. So
okay, so they actually just won't be able to convert.
Yeah.
That is, I was going to say that. Komodo, I'm going to follow up on that one too, just because that is a pretty deep one. Robert says, might be time to find another game to play. Hey, Robert, sorry if you're that way. If you have any specific stuff about the new system you're not happy with, please let us know.
Let's see. Trying to figure an example for, let's see.
Locke said, I really like the fact that it's going down to basically one member per tank. Now I don't have to worry about the last tank having a different crew loadout than the next one. Yep, that's definitely one of the things that's being improved by this. Meteoric said, why a 75-point camp? That's how the system was designed in terms of like the point buy of the different skills. That could definitely change, especially as we do some balancing and discover what is currently broken.
Yeah.
So it's just the point at which we decided that is enough points of the tree to allow you to specialize in different ways.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find a set of a set of crew that I have that has like 5 skills, but I don't seem to have any that aren't 5 skills.
Aaron says my BDR has 6 skills and it was at 75 points. Yeah,
okay.
Skills you're actually over the 75, so you'll have some additional handling characteristics and a higher rank and emblem badge.
Yes. So I have a Progetto crew,
which are arguably all cosmetic. To be fair. To be fair.
Okay, so let's put all of. Let's see.
Yeah, like I said, I think a lot of the feeling of it is overwhelming. Don't get me wrong. When this was initially presented to us a couple weeks ago, I was apoplectic, to use my GPC approved words. But once you start to like move stuff around and actually use the new tree, it's not the new system that's super complicated. It's converting to the new system from the old system. That's really complicated.
Okay. So am I showing my screen? Not yet. Okay, cool. So this is going to look a little weird because it does have 2 female crew members. So these 2 female crew members, because BIA is a 0 skill, that means there are 0 experience points contained within the BIA skill. So effectively, they are a 4 skill crew with 87% trained into concealment, whereas my commander is fully trained all the way. He's going to get, the full crew that I have, keeping in mind that 1, 2, and 3 are all 0 skill BIA. And I actually think so is Stefan Claus. Anyways, this is a full crew of essentially, this guy has 3 skills. This person has 4, 4, and 4. So these are 4 average crew. That only gets me 63 points. So to get a fully maxed out crew, all of my crew needs to have at minimum 5 fully maxed out skills. Give us absolutely nothing. Like, I personally don't like the way that the conversion happens, but you get instructors, and instructors, you get bonus skill points to put in your skill tree matrix. Personally, I don't like the way that works, mainly because 8 points to put into your skills matrix is not much. It really isn't, because you're losing out on BIA, which is now a skill in the skill matrix. So you have to use 10 points into, 10 points into, what is it called again? Coherence. So you got to put 10 points into coherence to get BIA, but 10 points is, 2 more skill points than I would need if I had my BIA. You know what I mean? So,
Just to get off cruise for a second, Jay Woodor, fast, if we have any new maps coming up. And because I know a lot of people are like, why are you guys focusing on this? There's other things I care about. Why don't we have new maps coming? We do have new maps coming, and the team that is working on the maps is not the same as the team that is working on the Crew 2.0. A lot of the map stuff at this point is past the concept stage and well into the rendering stage. I will give you a list of maps that have hit the super test recently. Avenue, High Ground, Summer, Frozen Land, Canyon, and Ivanovka, as well as Island and Graf Zeppelin and Tropica, and Pacific Coast, Lost Paradise. There we go. That's all of them. So not all of those maps will hit the live server anytime soon, but those are all maps that are currently on the super test, just to give you an idea of, yes, we have new maps coming. I promise.
Let's see. I saw a question. Alt War. It doesn't seem like the crew records are being kept. And then Galgen says, don't you have to obtain a certain level, though, before you can add instructors? Yes, 15, 30, and so, gosh, does it say? Yes, 15, 30, 45, and 60. So, yes. And no, the instructor's additional skill points do not count towards the skills metric or matrix. So if you have an instructor on here, you still have to have 75 points. You still have to put 30 points into any row to unlock a talent of the row.
Jujitsu asked if this change is made to improve things for new players. Well, the rationale was listed in the Q&A that you can find on the portal right now. The 4 bullet points listed by the devs as the reasoning behind the changes involve improvement of the user experience when interacting with the crew system, increasing the variety of skills and perks, especially the ones players actually use for the meta, creating a transparent progression system with clear and achievable goals, and improving the interface and crew management tools, which I do want to reiterate again, it's a lot less complicated once you're actually in the new system. The complicated part is converting to the new system.
Yeah. So the two things, I want to answer two things. Did Claws and the female crew just evaporate? No, they are now instructors. So here's my Claws, and then there are also my other instructors. They all turn into instructors. And then JTM says, so before this goes live, I want to reset my crews away from BIA. No. If you have female crew, the female crew are generally 0 skill BIA, which means they came with that already trained. And those female crew don't have experience in their BIA skill because they're 0 skill, because they automatically come with it. You didn't have to train it up. However, any standard crew that you have, so any crew that you have that isn't a 0 skill or a special crew, BIA trained for those crew will have experience in that skill. 0 skills are gone? Yes, but all of those crew turn into instructors anyways. So, is we get instructors instead of 0 skill? Yes, but like personally, like I'm gonna post my link again. Brothers in Arms, Jay Witter. So I'm going to post my link again because I go through a little bit more concisely in that comment. But essentially, I don't necessarily like the conversion of 0 skill to instructor because I feel like you still kind of lose out because, yeah. Cromwell B and Tiger 131. I'm actually pretty sure that they do. And yes, Jasper alert. All my Mirny commander... Jasper has decided to knock over my lights. Yes, I believe your Mirny commanders are skins, but also I'm pretty sure they're instructors. So, would it be a good idea to spread your female/special crew about as commanders? No. Oh, in the current system, so SandBox, all of your female crew will convert into instructors anyways, but in the current system, you should almost definitely train your female crews as commanders, because then you can train your commander in 6th Sense, and it would train as if it was the first skill you train for them.
Don't worry about asking questions, guys. People are going to be asking questions about this for a while. And this is only the first iteration, so stuff will change into the next SandBox. There'll be more questions. If you're here and you understand that this is the World of Tanks PC channel, I promise you we're not sick of your questions. That's the only one we're sick of.
Sorry, Mitty. I don't mean to use jargon or acronyms. BIA is Brothers in Arms, which is a +% to your full crews training. Otherwise, I don't think I've used any jargon. I'm using the exact terms that we have within the sandbox. So instructors, your special crews, which is things like, Buffon and Chuck Norris, and your female crews. I'm sorry, Nitty, I don't know what you mean.
It's unavoidable. If there's anything specific you need cleared up, please ask about it. We'd be happy to answer.
I had a crew with a female commander, and she is still a commander now. Yeah, you have to convert her manually in the sandbox. So, anticipate this going live. That's only if people like it, Jiu-Jitsu.
So we gave the example earlier of the HE changes. We just posted the results to the HE change sandbox. You guys can check that out on the news portal now. Our current plan is to do another sandbox for the HE changes in a month or two. Probably a similar timeline for this. We're going to run this for a while, collect data, collect feedback, bring back another sandbox iteration in the future. So as far as timeline, not in the next 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. Alex Colmer says, what a waste. It doesn't sound like you're even getting an even exchange for existing crews. So outside of special crews, which are, your female crew and your holiday crew or Chuck Norris, all of those, outside of those, there's a standard conversion, which is your the amount of XP that your crew has gets converted into XP for the commander of the tank, and that translates into skill points, which 75 is the maximum, but when you put instructors on your tank, you get additional skill points over the 75. Yes, you can actually mute Chuck Norris in the new system. So, yes. I mean, I don't know what's to say about Crew 2.0, but what I do know is that one of the reasons for you can mute him. You can. It's not automatically. Anyways, with Crew 2.0, the reason for these changes is, for one, essentially almost every single person, when you train your crew, it's the same skills, except in different orders. Whereas something like the skills matrix, you can do min-maxing, which is a term used to describe maximizing the skills or characteristics on a tank that are really good and maximizing those, and boosting up skills that otherwise make the tank possibly uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Does a crew skin make a crew member special? No. They have to be a special crew outright. So female crew, Buffon, Chuck Norris, your holiday girls, me, I'm a special crew. I'm a tier 2, class 2. Yeah, class 2. Automatic conversion of all the crews to get their max potential? Apka, this is SandBox, so it's a test. Yes, Phil, that's correct. All of the XP from your Snow Maidens will go to the commander of that tank, and then all of your Snow Maidens will become instructors. How do you get RNGesus? He's a skin. Old-timey British crew from the Mark V event. Will they become a skin, or are they poof? No, nobody poofs. Nobody poofs. They convert, if anything.
Generic crew that don't have a skill train do poof, though.
Yeah.
They become crew books.
Recruit instructors outside of special crews. None at this time. 4+ perks. Anything. So, generally, any other crew that you have. So let's say let me find a tank that has like some skills on it. What tanks do I play?
I just dropped the SandBox link in chat, Ron. There is actually a calculator for the conversion right now that you can go in and enter your current crew status and generate. It'll tell you exactly what you get in the new set.
So I have my IS3 crew. They are trained to their first 3 skills are fully trained, and they are working on 83% of their 4th skill. So when you convert them, well, when I convert mine, that is the equivalent of 52 skill points, and it unlocks 3 instructor slots. To get 75 as the max amount of skill points in general, you need at least a 100%ed 5 skills. So it has to be 5 fully trained skills, which means anything that has a 0 BIA needs to say 6 skills. Way less effective to anyone with a 75 skill point crew. I mean, I don't know. I haven't tested that. Limitation of instructors in your barracks. Not as far as I know. What I've been reading is you get 6th sense automatically. Yes. When are these changes going into production? This is just a test. 0 BIAs are just lost. No. 0 BIA. So, any crew member that has a 0 BIA essentially has no invested experience because it came with 0 skill BIA. A standard crew in which you have trained brothers in arms will have whatever experience is trained into brothers in arms. Can you move instructors between tanks? Yes, but it costs. 0 BIA cost me money. That is exactly why they become instructors. Cromwell BIA. No, BIA. Guys, BIA crews are turning into instructors. 0 skill BIAs turn into instructors. The reason why I'm saying generic... So the reason why I say 0 skill BIA doesn't give you any experience is because they never had experience. So outright, when you have a 0 skill BIA, like if you purchase the Cromwell, they have 0 experience, but they still have brothers in arms. So all of the experience that they don't have doesn't get put into your tank because they don't have anything to put in. But they still become instructors. So, no worries, Pyrolysis. Can instructors be shared in different vehicles like crews? No, you have to move them. What is the problem we're trying to solve? So if you watch the Crew 2.0 video, you'll learn that the reason for these changes are to essentially make it so people can do different builds. Because right now, the way that training skills works is you just train them in different orders. There's nothing different. There's no speciality that you can train to your crew and be conducive to the type of tank you're playing.
So Komodo sent me another question that actually I think you might know the answer to.
Okay.
400 plus tanks with possible opportunity to train multiple tank specialization, basically meaning that I'm going to have some unnecessary crews. Can I voluntarily melt down crews that I don't need anymore into crew books? No. I think they just stick around. If they have a skill train, you won't be able to.
Yeah.
We'll just have them available. If they are 100% but don't have a skill trained yet, I think they will, though.
So Douglas, the thing about being able to train one crew to multiple tanks is you're still locking the tank. If you put it into battle, you can't play the other tanks because they don't have a crew for it. So you still need multiple crews, and possibly you still need multiple crews for your standard tanks. but the only difference is one tank or one crew can man multiple.
I think you're probably right about that. The hope is that at least that the meta builds will be different for different vehicles, which kind of right now they are a little bit, but there should be a lot more variety between like what a light tank and a medium tank and a heavy tank use in the new system.
Crate 78, I don't like that system. I'll be completely honest. It's so I'll say this again, but it's a part of my feedback summary list. The feedback summary list, the first one essentially says that the conversion from a zero skill BIA crew to a new crew in the new system just feels lacking. Like absolutely lacking. I feel like it's not, like, this is a personal opinion of mine. I feel like it's kind of an unfair conversion, because in our current crew system, a BIA gives you plus 5% to all of your crew stuff. But in the new system, you have to train up. You have to train up the new one, which is, oh gosh, coherence. So coherence is the new version of zero skill BIA. You have to train that up 10 points, which 10 points from where if you, sorry, 10 points from a standard crew is equivalent to less than technically the conversion of a one skill crew, because a one skill crew can convert to 18 points. So that's less than that. Whereas when you convert, let's say, a zero skill BIA, all you get is the instructors, and you get to assign them to a tank in which you will essentially be able to, like I said, assign. If I can go to the crew, you can assign, up to 4, but that will max you out at being plus 8 points additional. So I don't like that system. I really don't. But otherwise, like, there's a lot of things I do like. But
I think there are positives. So, yeah, people are playing on multiple tank specializations. Universal Sixth Sense is a really big deal, I think. Did you catch Left Shoe's question?
Where's Left Shoe's question?
So my understanding, he says he had a Scorp G and converted it to a standard Scorp. The crew is still for the Scorp G in SandBox, so it sounds like it just happened in the snapshot. It was from a time ago. When I put that same crew back in the Scorp, I get a warning sign page saying mobilizing a crew for a premium vehicle is not recommended. Am I not allowed to continue unless I spend gold to train them? So
that's really interesting.
Yeah, my understanding, and I might be wrong about this, is that they haven't converted to the new system yet, and the system's trying to stop him from doing that.
Yes.
The system wants you to train it to a tech tree German TD, and then once you've done that, you'll be able to put them in the Scorp. No problem.
Put it back in your Scorp G. Put it back in your Scorp G, and you'll be able to convert them to the new system, and then put them into your new Scorp G, or into your Scorpion.
Doesn't have the Scorp G in this garage anymore, I think, is what happened. So actually, I think that might be a problem unique to the snapshot taken for the SandBox. So it might just be a SandBox specific thing that won't be an issue.
Actually, he can avoid that. If you go into your... So I actually kind of did this earlier. Let me find something that I can do to convert. Okay. So I have my T54 first prototype. They're in my T54 first prototype. If I say want to move my crew from the T54 first prototype into my STG, I actually have to mobilize them, and when I go to mobilize them, in general, I believe, if I can find my correct tank, gosh darn it, T54 mod 1. It won't let you convert them because they aren't trained to that tank. It essentially wants to prevent issues from happening to crews that aren't trained for the tank that they're on. So my guess is it's already kind of thought of, like, just convert the crew to the new tank, which will cost 800 gold. Or in this case, 800 gold. And then once you do, then you can do the crew mobilization. It's a standard process. It's actually not a niche situation.
But this shouldn't happen. Like, if this comes to the live server, that won't happen because the roster that gets uploaded will obviously be the same. So I think that you're in a unique situation where you have a crew that didn't get transferred to the tank you swapped it for because of something that is wrong with the snapshot. So that's a weird one.
Yeah, Pyro, it's not that there's zero compensation. All of your zero skill crew becomes instructors, which gives bonuses to your existing crew when you put them on a tank. I'm just saying that standard, this would essentially be like converting a no-skill crew anyways. If you have a 100% crew and they don't have its first skill, converting them into the new system wouldn't have anything because there's no XP put into them. But if your zero skill crew does have XP and does have skills past their zero skill BIA, it'll convert. It's just that you have to subtract one full skill from the amount of assumed XP that they have. No, they can, Salty. They can. Trapped in the Russian line after conversion, or can I reassign them to other nations? Anything that you have assigned to the specific nation will be assigned. But otherwise, like, instructors-wise, I believe that they are not locked to that tank until you actually assign them to the tank. So, I can keep having to, like, change tanks. So, like, I have a bunch of... All of these instructors have not been assigned to a tank, so I can assign them to a tank. And then once I assign them to that tank, then I have to pay to move them, I believe. So, yeah, so if I want to do dismiss, I can move them back to the barrack to add them to a corresponding nation. So they are locked to that nation once you assign it. 10 years into the game, Crew 2.0 wipes that away. What does it wipe away? Like, I'm trying to understand what you're losing out on. Why are instructors specific for a tank instead of specific for the class? Instructors are specific to the nation, it seems. Not to class or tank. Did you already walk through that slowly and I missed it? No, there are some people who are asking some questions that might be repeat questions. I'm just going through it quickly because they've already been asked. But I'm willing to answer questions. 10 years of effort. Robert, what are you losing out on? What is your most trained skills? Why is a 4-tank crew at 3 skills worth less than a 2-crew tank at 3 skills? I don't think that's true, actually. Is it? Let me see. Okay, let's find... Oh, goodness. Okay. Not available for testing. Let's do 3, 4, 5. Goodness gracious. 6? Okay, awesome.
I got Kono has another one. If maxing skills to unlock a crew perk is limited, what possible weaknesses will the new crew system expose for tanks that require both firepower and view range? I'm not equipped to answer that question yet, Komodo. I think that's something we'll see as people play the sandbox more and a meta for the builds develops. I imagine there will be some trade-offs, though.
Let's see. Skills. It's the history and their personal data. Yeah, I guess that's pretty true, but That could change, number series. That can change. That's a good point of feedback. Essentially, like, see, I'm trying to find a crew that's good to convert, but point still stands. I don't think that. Don't think this would be a final implementation. This is just a test. So. You have 400 zero skill BIA? My goodness. Where did they come from? My gosh. Sorry, my cat, I know I have this little green screen bit. My cat knocked over my light, and I'm not going to wake him up to move my light back, because we're about 10 minutes away from the end of the stream. I know this was a whole lot of talking, guys, and...
Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah. Where can we find info on these predetermined skills? So, Rudy crew, Fury crew, Offspring. So, anything that isn't, I mean, so you can kind of look in your barracks and see what instructors are what. So this is a second class instructor. These are, anything down here is third class instructor. So anything that isn't what seems to be like a movie or a real person, or like I believe it's anything like anything that had skills trained when you got it. So like the Sabaton guys are real people, so they're class 2. Stefan Klaus is class 2 because I believe he came with 2 skills trained. Milan, real person, 2 class. Buffon, also real person, 2nd class. I don't know where this guy comes from, if I'll be honest. Same with this guy. I don't know where these guys come from. But outside of that, all the Twitch guys seem to be 3rd class. All the female crew are also 3rd class, so. Robert, I would like to know how many skills do you have on your crew? Because I'm trying to help you out here, Robert. So. Battle Pass commanders. Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair. What happens to all our credits spent on crew books? What are you losing out on? All of the XP that you've spent on crew books that have been put onto your crews are going to transition with the crews. They're still going to have the XP. It's just going to convert into the new system, and then you will get skill points in relation to that. You lose them as crew? You do lose them as crew. However, Robert, you can put them onto your tanks as instructors, and because of that... Rudy Borks! Guys.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You just made Tragic's day.
Anyways, you can put them onto your tanks as instructors, guys. And you get additional skill points because they are put onto your tanks. So 75 skill points, which is the standard maximum, now becomes +8 maximum, I believe, which is, what is that, 83 points? So yeah, effort to gain 6 cents just to give it away. I think that makes it nicer for newer players, Robert. Like, I totally understand that, you know, you spent a lot of time, you know, into training 6 cents, but I think making the game more accessible to new players is kind of important to the game. So, well, Radcliffe, you're lucky that this is just a test. So your feedback is well noted. Well noted.
Although, you know, if there's like some specific stuff you want to talk about, what you don't like.
Screws your player base. It's a test. So.
Well, in what way do you think it screws the player base?
Yeah, that's also good.
I mean, everyone gets dealt the same hand.
Yeah. Normal looking zero. Chrome LB. Salia, I'm pretty sure those get turned into instructors as well. So they're all going to be instructors. If they came with 0 skill, they're instructors, almost definitely.
I was asking if food will be removed as a usable consumable. I don't believe so.
I mean, that's a pretty fair point. I mean, Robert, if things don't appeal to you anymore, that happens to a lot of people. But, you know, like I said, this is a test, and if a lot of the changes are just not positive for players, we can absolutely scrap the potential changes.
Really, and it's as a new player, this does nothing but confuse. We're certainly at the confusing stage. I think, you know, like
the conversion is confusing.
Once you're in the new system itself isn't that complicated. It's the process, how we get from here to there.
Like, if I were to explain, like, if I'm a new player and I'm joining the game and I'm looking at a skills matrix, okay, I can fill these up to 10 and then I get a talent. I can fill another one up to 10 and get a talent. And then I can fill about 15 more. Okay, awesome. And then once I do that, I can go back and I can just throw a instructor on to get additional skill points. Super easy, I think. It's kind of similar to Borderlands, if you guys have ever played that. Grinding skills and crews to get nothing? You're not getting nothing, it's just a transition. It's just a transition.
So we're coming up on the end of the stream here. I'm going to drop a couple of resources in chat. First is going to be the SandBox 2.0 crew FAQ. I'll drop the SandBox article again as well. A lot of answers to questions you have are in that document, including a crew calculator for seeing what your crews will be worth in the new system. Please, if you are unsure about the new system, download the SandBox client. It's free. All it takes is space on your hard drive and some bandwidth, and you can try it out. Maybe you decide that you were right and it's horrible. Maybe you decide that it's actually not as bad as you thought. But you know, we really need feedback from people who actually try out the new system and don't just read about it a little bit and decide to be mad. So if you do want to provide that sort of useful feedback, we encourage you to check out the SandBox. I will also post the feedback thread in the forums where you can deposit your feedback. I promise if you post it here, if you post it in the Reddit thread, if you post in the forum thread, we will get it. It all ends up in the feedback reporting that we'll be doing. So, you know, wherever you're comfortable posting that stuff works fine.
So I know my example is catering to new players, and these will be the last things I comment on. You're not paying to convert crews to the new system. You can convert them easily without paying anything. The standard things that you pay for are things like adding a crew specialization to another vehicle, which is kind of like converting your crew from one tank to another crew, which is already the same. You still got to pay for that. And then Left Shoe, I know my example is catering to new players, but the other thing is, one of the things that the devs want to do is make it so that the skills that you pick can be variety of different skills and can min-max, which is a MMO term to essentially mean the skills that you really want to boost up, you can boost up. Like the best characteristics on a tank can be boosted, and then the lowest skills, the worst skills or the worst characteristics on a tank can be slightly boosted, so that way it's more comfortable. So I don't think we're catching flack. This is literally a test, so it's all about making sure that if we were to do the crew 2.0, we want to put it and make it so that you guys don't lose out if you have really high and a lot of experience put into the crew. But outside of that, you know, okay. Badger has a 6-skill crew. I retrain all to commander and gunner of a 3-kill. I mean, honestly, yeah, Patton. Actually, yes. But the thing is, all of the skills or all of the the amount of skill points that you get is depending upon how much XP that your crew has. So possibly, I don't know exactly how that would look, Patton, but try it out. Why not?
Somebody had a question here. Maltman says, you probably answered a lot of questions, but I have one. I've looked through the skills. It seems like it favors active scouting. There's only 2 view range skills, and one of them is when moving. So I have actually seen that already, Maltman. It's a bit early for us to have developed an opinion on the skill tree options, but that is something I promise you I will be looking out for as we ourselves play SandBox this week.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, we appreciate the kind words, but honestly, this is pretty nice as far as these kind of streams go.
Yeah, you guys are actually not that rough on us. Like we absolutely understand the frustration points, which is why I keep telling you guys to go look at my comment, because it summarizes a good chunk of your guys' feedback. And you know, we've already passed it on as part of our report, but definitely check that out. We will continue to be getting your feedback on all of this, so keep posting on the forums, keep posting on Reddit, everywhere. This is just a test. This is just a test. It can be canceled, just like the previous HE changes. I will say that 1 billion times over. We've done it before. We have done it before. Try it out. See how you feel about it. Tell us exactly what you don't like, and we will take your feedback and we will pass it to the devs. So please, please. Barracks will be converted. I believe it's in the article.
A lot of people, you know, you guys are just, you're against it. You think we're going to force it on you. You know, hey, I understand position. I promise you, you'll have plenty of notice before this comes anywhere near the live server. There's going to be at least one more SandBox iteration after this one, even if it continues. And Uncle Ira's calling me Brian. I don't know why. And I posted all those links. Guys, if you don't like it, please download the SandBox. It's free. Try it out. If you still don't like it, if you still hate absolutely everything about it, your opinion will matter more in the SandBox survey that you get for participating than it will by posting it here in this chat. So even if you are like dedicated to trying to stop this update at all costs, you're still better served by participating in the SandBox and letting us know that way.
Yeah.
With that, please check out the links we posted. Thank you for all the kind words from you guys about us personally, and for the folks at Texas who just went through quite an ordeal last week. I hope you all have a pleasant evening and a good week.
Yes. All right. And if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask them in the Discord. We'll do what we can to answer any additional questions. Definitely SandBox. Definitely read the article. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later on in the week.
Post parade.
Goodbye, everybody.